Let's be real for a second. We are all digital hoarders. We've got articles, research papers, random notes, images, just scattered across a dozen different folders and apps. It's a total mess of disconnected info, and trying to find that one crucial piece of insight, it feels like searching for a needle in a digital haystack.
But what if an AI could do more than just, store your information? What if it could actually understand it, connect it, and even let you have a full-on conversation with it?
Well, in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to dig into. How you can build a personal knowledge base, a second brain, really, all powered by large language models. We're talking about a system that turns all that digital clutter into a dynamic, intelligent resource that works for you.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the problem of information overload. Then we'll introduce the AI-powered solution and walk through the step-by-step blueprint. After that, we'll cover the essential tools you'll need, and finally, we'll look at what's next for your ever-evolving knowledge base.
So let's just start with the problem, right? Information overload. Your current system of scattered notes and files, it's just not cutting it anymore. It's a relic of a pre-AI world, and honestly, it's holding you back from truly using the knowledge you work so hard to collect. The real issue here is digital clutter. All your knowledge is locked away in these separate little boxes, making it almost impossible to find what you need when you need it. You can't see the big picture connections between ideas. And let's face it, manually organizing everything is just a tedious, soul-crushing task. Your knowledge just sits there, static, when it should be a living, dynamic asset.
And that, my friends, brings us to the solution, your AI librarian. Now, this is not just a better folder structure. This is a fundamental shift. We're talking about a knowledge base that is actively managed, interconnected, and actually understood by an artificial intelligence.
I mean, just look at this comparison. On one hand, you have traditional notes, manual, static, disconnected. On the other, an LLM-powered knowledge base, automated, dynamic, deeply interlinked, and you can ask it complex questions in plain English. The difference is, well, it's night and day.
Someone on a dev community put it perfectly. They said, this system is like having a genius librarian who not only knows every book in the library, but can also weave all that information together into a brand new story for you on demand.
All right, let's get into the good stuff, the mechanics. This is the core of our explainer, the actual blueprint for building your very own digital brain. We're going to break this whole workflow down into 5 really clear steps.
Now, this workflow, which is inspired by a process from OpenAI's Andrej Karpathy, is surprisingly straightforward. You just ingest your raw data, let an LLM compile it into a wiki, you interact with that wiki by asking questions, and then you maintain it over time. It becomes this continuous loop that just keeps making your knowledge base better and better. So let's look at each stage.
Okay, first you ingest and compile. You basically just gather all your source material, articles, papers, even images, and dump them into a single raw folder. A tool like the Obsidian Web Clipper is awesome for this. It just saves web pages as clean markdown files. Then you point an LLM at this folder. The AI reads everything, creates summaries, categorizes concepts, and, this is the magic part, it generates backlinks, creating this incredible web of interconnected knowledge. You almost never touch the files yourself. The wiki becomes the LLM's domain.
And don't think this is just for a handful of notes. This system can handle some serious volume. Even without fancy vector databases or complex setups, a simple file-based system can easily manage a knowledge base with over 100 articles and 400,000 words, all processed and linked up by the LLM.
This is where the whole system truly comes alive. You don't just consume information anymore, you interact with it. You can ask the LLM these really complex questions, and it will go off and research the answers using the wiki it created. You can ask for the answer as a text response, a new markdown file, or even a slideshow. Then, and this is key, you file that output right back into the wiki. It creates this powerful feedback loop where your own curiosity is constantly making your second brain even smarter.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, this all sounds amazing, but what specific tools do I need to make it happen? So let's look at the essential gear that makes this whole workflow possible.
The central hub for this whole system is an app called Obsidian. People often call it an IDE for your thoughts, which is a great way to put it. It's perfect for this because it works directly on a local folder of markdown files. It's not a cloud service. Your data stays with you on your machine. Obsidian is the front end where you can view, browse, and visualize the entire wiki your LLM is building for you.
And this right here perfectly illustrates one of Obsidian's absolute killer features, the graph view. All those backlinks your LLM created become these visible nodes and edges in a massive web. This lets you literally see the connections between your ideas and discover relationships you never would have noticed otherwise. It's fantastic. But what if you need a custom tool, like a little search engine that works just on your wiki? Well, instead of learning to code from scratch, you can use a technique called vibe coding. This is where you just describe your goal to an AI assistant in plain English, like, hey, build me a simple search tool for these files, and it generates the code for you. It's a really powerful way for anyone to build their own tools to make their knowledge base even better.
So, you've built your system, it's growing every single day. What's next? Let's talk about the future of your evolving knowledge and how you can make it even more powerful as you go.
So, there are two main paths for leveling up your system. On the left, you've got RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Think of this as giving the AI an open book test. It can reference your wiki in real time. On the right, you have fine-tuning. This is more like sending the AI to school. You're actually retraining the model on your data, baking that specialized knowledge right into its brain for a deeper understanding.
Of course, it's not a perfect system. You got to be aware of a few challenges. LLMs can sometimes hallucinate plausible sounding but totally false information, so always double-check critical facts. And it is so easy to get carried away and over-engineer this stuff. The beauty of this system is its simplicity, so start there and only add features when you really need them.
Look, at the end of the day, this isn't just a new way to take notes. It's a way to actually augment your own intelligence, to discover new connections, and to build a personal knowledge assets that get smarter right alongside you. Your second brain is waiting. The only question is, what will you build with it?